Something that is unique, we are all required to register all our data processing systems and put in place also cross-border mechanisms, such as contractual agreements that must be comparable with the local Data Privacy Act. And then, of course, another unique right that we have in the Philippines is the right of transmissibility for the data subjects, that any next of kin can actually exercise the rights of a data subject when that data subject has actually lost their capacity to provide consent when they're incapacitated or in terms of death. Yeah. Our regulator is also independent. Aside from the penalties and fines, the regulator has actually introduced what they refer to as administrative fines, right? In the context of, again, the digital commerce, because as you may very well know, the Philippines has a very large business process outsourcing industry, which is contributing about $30 billion to our economy on an annual basis. And of course, the growth of the financial technology sector, which is now processing more than about $22 billion in terms of digital transactions. Yeah. So key challenges. Our own regulator commissioned the survey wherein we have found out that only 25% of our population is aware that there is a law about data privacy. And worse, actually, only 12% of the population is aware that a regulator exists. Right? So I think there's still a long way for us to go in terms of educating our population about it. And then, of course, another new introduction by the Philippine authorities that when you want to file a complaint, you have to pay a fee, right? About $10, which I'm sure would, for any data subject would somehow discourage you from, filing a complaint. Aside from paying a fee, your complaint has to be notarized, right, by a legal professional. All right? Okay, so this is a quick summary of what we have adopted insofar as the GDPR as a gold standard, and of course, whatever is localized in terms of the country. Now, speaking of Thailand, they just have recently also passed their law that came into effect in June of 2022. The Thai digital e-commerce has grown also tremendously, which is now about more than $22 billion per annum. And of course, from a Thai perspective, it's now also a consumer right, similar to all other countries in the region, aside from the Philippines, of course. And in terms of the consent, yes, parental consent is required for individuals who are below 10 years old, right? So one of the trivia questions that was asked earlier, so it is below the age of 10. Right, so key differences, again, challenges since the law is very new, so there's still no expertise in the country. There are no guidelines yet on how the enforcement is going to happen, on how companies or both the private sector and the government would actually operationalize the law. And of course, companies are not very encouraged to comply because of low financial penalties, based on the law. Right? So this is again also a quick summary of what has been adopted from the EU GDPR and of course some adaptation on the local law.